Hello, good morning, friends. Say happy news for us that we have come to the last lesson of geography, that is lesson number 6. It is about population. So, it is all a very familiar subject to us, and this topic of population very often comes into our talks and different topics because we know India is having a very high population, and because of that the poverty continue to persist in India. So in this lesson let us analyze what type of population that we have, or what is meaning of population, why population is increasing or why it is decreasing, and so let us learn about all these different ways and methods, and let us learn and understand about the real quality of the population of our country. So you can take lesson number 6, page 53. So can you imagine a world without human beings? Who would have utilized resources and created the social and cultural environment? The people are important to develop the economic and society. The people make and use resources and are themselves resources with varying quality. Coal is but a piece of rock. Until people were able to invent technology to obtain it and make it a resource, and natural events like a river flood or tsunami becomes a disaster only when they affect the crowded village or a town. So that is just introduction, that we cannot imagine that in a world there is no human beings. If human beings are not there, that world will be, we can say, we cannot call it a real world. So human beings are very essential to make the world alive and active. And so many things are there in the world, and all that becomes useful or all that becomes important, it is because of the presence of human beings. If human beings are not there, then all those are not important. For example, the coal that we dig out or mine out from the earth, it is just a piece of rock. But because of human beings, he is able to think and able to find out that this coal can be used as a fuel. Then it becomes a very important piece. Otherwise, it was just like a stone laying down there. So, but human beings are able to find it out. In the same way, when there is a natural disaster, maybe like earthquake, flood, tsunami, and so on, when it is affecting the people, when we say we are calling it a disaster. Suppose it is not touching the people, it is going happening only in the desert or in the jungle, then nobody will say it is a disaster. But when human beings are affected, we call it a disaster. That shows the importance of human beings. Everything is valued depending on the how it affects the human beings. Hence, population is the pivotal element in social studies. So, population is a pivotal. Pivotal is very important. It's a very important element or topic in social studies. Without studying about population, we cannot have a complete study of social science. It is the point of reference from which all other elements are observed and from which they derive significance and meaning. Resources, calamities, and disasters are all meaningful ones in relation to human beings, and their numbers, their distribution, growth, and characteristics or qualities provide the basic background for understanding and appreciating all aspects of the environment. So, the human beings, they can be a resource, or other like calamities and disasters, they are all meaningful when it is in relation with the human beings. If there are no human beings, then resources are not there, calamities are not there, and disasters are not there. When human beings are affected, we call it a disaster. When something is useful for the human beings, we call it a resource. Then we also need to know the number of the population or the size of the population, then the distribution, how they are distributed, the population. We know throughout the earth population is not same. Some places population is very thin, some places population is very thick, so they are not distributed equally. Then the growth also is not equal. Some places the population is growing very fast, some places population is growing very slow. Then the characteristics of the population, whether they are educated or not, whether they are skilled or not, whether they are healthy or not, all these are characteristics of a population, and all these we need to know in order to understand the population of a place. Then human beings are producers and consumers of earth's resources. So we know human beings are producers and also consumers. So who are the ones producing things in this earth? Are the animals producing? They are not cultivating anything, they just go and eat what is available. But human beings cultivate, they create things, they produce things, and they also consume it, they also use it. Then therefore, it is important to know how many people are there in a country, where do they live, how and why their numbers are increasing, and what are their characteristics. So since it is human beings who produce and use the resources of the earth, it is very important for us to know about the population, which place they live, how they live, or why their numbers are increasing. All these factors we need to learn, we need to find out the reason behind it. Only then we can really understand the population, the human beings living on this earth. And the Census of India provides us with information regarding the population of our country. So the Census of India provides us with information regarding the population of our country. So every 10 years the India government takes population census to find out what is the number of people living in this country and what is their age. Between 1 to 10, how many are they? Between 10 to 50, like that they will divide into different areas and take a number, the quality of the people, how much are they educated, what are they doing, are they employed, all kinds of details they will collect once in every 10 years. That is called census, and that census or that information will help us to understand the population of a country very properly. You can see there is a small column given at the end, at the bottom. It is about census. So a census is an official enumeration of population done periodically. So it is a enumeration. Enumeration means taking the calculation or taking the number. Or not every year, it is periodically. Every year taking the census is not a easy thing, because India is such a vast country, and for the officers to go around and visit all the families in the country every year is not possible. Therefore it is done every once in 10 years. So in India the first census was held in the year 1872. You can underline. When was the first population census done in India? That was in 1872. So the first complete census, however, was taken in the year 1881. So the 1872 it was not done properly, it was not completed. So the first completed census was taken in 1881. Then since then census have been held regularly every 10th year. So from 1881 onwards, after every 10 years the census has been taken in India very regularly. Then the Indian census is the most comprehensive source of demographic, social, economic data. So the census that the India government takes, it is comprehensive, we can say, covering the whole area. What are the things it is covering? It is a comprehensive source of demographic, That means scientific study. It is about a very detailed study in a scientific way, not just going and collecting how many people are living there, all those, not just casually collecting, but very demographically, that's very scientifically studying the people's situation and collecting the data about the information about people's economic situation, social situation, and so on. And have you ever seen a census report? Check in your library if it is done. So there are many books are there which is talking about census of our country. So if you get some books, try to read and learn more about it. Then we are primarily concerned with three major questions about population. So when we are studying about population, we are mainly concerned or mainly preoccupied with three questions. Let's see what are they. First one is population size and distribution. How many people are there and where are they located? That's the first question we ask. Population size means what is the strength of the people in India? How many are their number? Then where are they settled? Where are they staying? That is the first question. Then the second question is population growth and process of population change. So how has the population grown and changed through the time? So for the last 10 years, how has the population grown and how has the population changed? That is the question that we will be asking. That is the second question. And the third question is about characteristics or qualities of the population. So what are their age, sex composition, literacy levels, occupational structure, and health condition. So the third question that we will be asking is about the age of the people. Then the sex composition, how many boys, how many girls, or how many males and how many females. Then literacy levels, how much education have they got, how they finish high school or how they finish college level, and so on. Then occupational, what occupation are they doing? Are they a farmer or are they going to office or are they still studying? So the occupational level structure. And the health condition, whether this person is a healthy person or not, whether this person is sickly and taking treatment or not. So to find out the exact health condition, that is also the part of the government, the duty and the responsibility of the government. So these are the three things or three questions that we will be asking, and we will be trying to find out the answers to these questions in this lesson. Then we can say somewhat our study on this population will be complete. So let us come to that first question, that is about population size and distribution. Now, what are the questions we will be asking under this title? We will be asking about how many people are there and where are they located, where are they living. That is the question we will be studying under this title. So population size and distribution. Population, the size and distribution. So India's population size and distribution by numbers. Let us see what is the population size of India and how are they distributed. That is what we are going to see. So India's population as on March 2001 stood at 1028 million, which account for 16.7% of the world's population. So according to 2001 census, so it is already 20 years ago, the census was taken 20 years ago. We don't have access to the latest census. So according to 2001 census, how many people are there in India? 1028 million. 1028 million people are there in our country, and that is, if you look percentage wise, it is 16.7%. 16.7% of the total population of the world we can find in India. So that is a big amount or big quantity of the people living in India. These 1.02 billion people are unevenly distributed over our country's vast area of 3.28 million square kilometers, which accounts for 2.4% of the world's area. So, what is the size of India? It is 3.28 million square kilometers. So that is the area of our country, 3.28 square kilometers. Then, so the population is, we can say 1.28. 1.28 million people, and the area is 3.28 square kilometers. And the total size of the world, the land, the total size of the land or total size of the earth, and if you look percentage, India has got how many percentage of the total land of the total world? Just 2.4%. So see the difference. The population of India is 16.7% of the whole world, and the land that India has is only 2.4% of the world. So the land is less for India comparing to other worlds, but the population is high. How many times high? You see, 8 times higher than the size of the land. So that's why in India the population is high and the land is less. So some other countries land is plenty and people are less, but in India it is just the opposite. And the 2001 census data reveals that Uttar Pradesh, with a popular size of 166 million people, is the most populous state of India. So you can underline that. Which is the most popular state in India? Uttar Pradesh is the most populous state in India. They have 166 million people. So total is 1028 million. So out of that 166 million you will find in Uttar Pradesh alone. Uttar Pradesh accounts for about 16% of country's population. So the 16% of the country's population is in Uttar Pradesh. So we said the 16% of the population of the total population of the world is found in India. Then India's population 16% is found where? In Uttar Pradesh. So Uttar Pradesh is very thickly populated. On the other hand, the Himalayan state Sikkim has a population of just about 500,000 and Lakshadweep has only 60,000 people. So some small states like Sikkim, near Himalaya, how many people it have got? Only just 500,000. In Uttar Pradesh 166 million, but in Sikkim only just 500,000. And if you go to Lakshadweep Island, there are only 60,000 people, not very many. So almost half of India's population lives in just 5 states. These are Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Bihar, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan. And the biggest state in terms of area has only 5.5% of total population of India. So most of the highest number of people living in India are these few states, 5 states. What are they? Which are they? They are Uttar Pradesh, then Bihar, Maharashtra, West Bengal and Andhra Pradesh. These are the 5 states having highest number of population in India. Of course their size also is big. States are also big. And the biggest state in India is Rajasthan. but they have very less number of population. How much they have? Rajasthan has got only 5.5% of the total population in India. So Uttar Pradesh has got 16.6 percentage of the population living in the total population of India living there, but 16 percentage is living in Uttar Pradesh. But in Rajasthan, though it is bigger than Uttar Pradesh, how many people are there? They have only just 5 percentage. So what could be the reason? They have only just 5.5 percentage. We are talking about all this in 2001 data, okay, according to 2001 census. So it is already, we can say, outdated because already 20 years have passed, but still it is for our knowledge. There may not be much difference. The population is continuing to grow everywhere. So Rajasthan has got only 5.5 percentage of the population. Though the state is very big, the population is very less. What could be the reason? Can you say? Because the land is not very suitable for living. It is hot, a large area is a desert, and so nobody goes and lives there. So depends on what kind of climate they have, what kind of land, what kind of soil they have. Accordingly, the people prefer to stay or choose the place of their stay. So you can see the marks, the diagrams are there comparing to the population of the world and the area. So the India is the area that is cut. So population wise, India has got 16.7 percentage, but area wise India is only just 2.4 percentage. So we can imagine how such a small area but the population is so high. Then we can see again here that the distribution of population of India's population, how they are distributed. Andhra Pradesh has got 7.4 percentage, West Bengal has got 7.79 percentage, Bihar has got 8 percentage, Maharashtra has got 9.4 percentage, and Uttar Pradesh has got 16.16 percentage. So these are the states. Almost occupying half of the population of India is within these 5 states. All the other half of the population is distributed in other 21, 22 states. So other states are having less population, but half of the population is found in these 5 states. Then India's population distribution by density. What is the meaning of density? The thickness, how thick the people are living. So population density provides a better picture of the uneven distribution. So we said people are not distributed equally. Every state is not having equal number of people, or the way the people are living are not equal. We saw Uttar Pradesh has got the highest population, and Rajasthan has got only 1/3 of it, and Sikkim has got only just 500,000, and Lakshadweep Island has got only just 60,000 people. So everywhere the number of people are not same. They are different from place to place or from state to state. What could be the reason? What is responsible for this difference? Why some areas are very thickly populated and some areas are very thinly populated? What could be the reason, or what are the factors responsible for the population thickness or the distribution of the population? So population density is scheduled as the number of persons per unit in area. So how do we calculate the population density? We will see in a unit area how many people are living, the number of people living in a unit per area. So India is one of the most densely populated countries in the world. So when we calculate the density of the population, we come to know, or we realize that India is one of the country that is highly populated, or the highest population, or high density of population in India. Then do you know only Bangladesh and Japan have higher average population densities than India? Find out the population densities of Bangladesh and Japan. So if you compare other countries, we will realize two other small countries like Japan and Bangladesh they have higher density than India, but they are able to manage. Like Japan, they are rich enough, therefore they can easily manage. So what is the density of Bangladesh? It is 1115 per square kilometer. In Bangladesh, if you take 1 square kilometer, how many people will be living there? 1115. And if you take Japan, what is the situation? Japan, it is much less, just 336 person per square kilometer. So in Bangladesh, it is almost 3 times higher than that of Japan. So that is how the densities are different from one country to other countries. Then the population density of India in the year 2001 was 324 person square kilometer. So according to the census in 2001, how many people are living in India in a 1 square kilometer? Just 324. So Bangladesh how much? 1115. Japan is 336. So India and Japan, there is no much difference. Japan is slightly ahead in population density. Then densities vary from 904 persons per square kilometer in Bengal to only 13 persons per square kilometer in Arunachal Pradesh. So Arunachal Pradesh also population is very less. The area is very big, but the population is very less. If you take 1 square kilometer, how many people will be found in Arunachal Pradesh? Only just 13 persons are living in 1 square kilometer. But if you go to West Bengal, how many people will be living in 1 square kilometer? 904 people will be living in West Bengal. But when it comes to Arunachal Pradesh, it will be much less. So that's why we say the people are not equally distributed. The population distribution is not equal. Some places very high, some places very less. Then a study on the figure 6.3 shows the pattern of uneven distribution of population densities at the state level. So when we check at this chart, that is the following page, the figure 6.3, we will see the population density. Different colors are given, and at the end indicators are there. What does the meaning of each color? So the first color indicates area where 1 square kilometer more than 500 people are living. Then second one indicates there people are living between 250 to 500 people are living 1 square kilometer. Then third one indicates where people are living between 100 and 250 people in 1 square kilometer. Then the fourth one indicates the area where people are less than 100 people are living in 1 square kilometer. So that is showing how the population density is different from place to place. Then note the states with population densities below 250 persons per square kilometer. Rugged terrain and unfavorable climatic conditions are primarily responsible for the sparse population in this area. So you can underline what is the reason responsible for the sparse population. Sparse means very thin population. What is the reason? The rugged terrain. That means the land is not level. Hills and mountains are there, so people are very few there. That is one reason. Then third reason is unfavorable climate. The climate is either too cold or too hot. Then also, there also people will be less. So these are the two reasons why the distribution of the population is uneven. Which states have density below 100% per square kilometer? So we can look at here and see the white color one. Which are the places having population less than 100? Which are they? Can you say? Tripura is there, Arunachal Pradesh is there, then Jammu and Kashmir, So these are the places where the population is less than 100. So also Mizoram also population is less because of this the uneven terrain. There are hills and mountains and so on, and also the unfavorable climate. So Assam and most of the peninsular states have moderate population densities, and hilly, dissected and rocky nature of the terrain, moderate to low rainfall, shallow and less fertile soils have influenced population density in these areas. So some states like Assam, they have got very moderate population, not too thick and not too thin. What are the reasons for affecting the population again? One we already said, the rugged terrain. Another one is the unfavored climatic situation, the climates. Then the hills, the dissected means valley. The hills, valley, the rocky nature of the terrain, moderate or low rainfall, and shallow and less fertile soil. All these also influence the people's distribution of the population. So where there is no rain, it will be very dry. People don't like to stay where there is no rain. There will be scarcity of water, or too deep valley, or too high hills, or unfertile soil. All these places people will be staying very few. They don't like to stay in such kind of places. Then the northern plains and Kerala in the south have high to very high population densities because of that flat plains with fertile soils and abundant rainfall. So the northern plains in Delhi, Haryana, Punjab and so on, and also in the Kerala in south. So the North India and the South India, the population is very high. What are the reasons responsible for that? Because of the plain area as well as the fertile soil. So people who like to settle down in a fertile area where they want to do cultivation, the farmers, they will choose this place. So northern plain also is very fertile because of the soil coming down with river Ganga, Brahmaputra and so on. And in those, lot of fertile fields are there, plains are there. So all that area is thickly populated by the people, especially the farmers. Then identify the 3 states of the northern plains which have high population densities. We can look in there and find out which are the places or states having high density of population. One is Uttar Pradesh, another one is Bihar, then West Bengal. These are the 3 states which are having very high density of population. So all these, the physical conditions of the earth, the climate, all that matters for the people to make a choice whether they want to stay in this place or not. So accordingly, where the place is very good, plain, and the fertile soil and good rainfall and good climate, such kind of places will be chosen by many people, and more people will go and stay there. That's how the population is increasing in that place. So we shall stop today, and we shall meet you again in the coming day, the next day, and we will continue with the population again, how the population is growing and what are the process of population change. We shall see about it in the next class. So thank you for listening. Bye.